Thanks for joining us about on an overview really of Maximus and how we are fast forwarding the future. And as I was saying, I hope you had a chance to watch the Bosdale webinar, the last 30 minutes. If not, I would really encourage you to do that. It's a producers in Ontario that are using all of the capabilities of the Maximus system, and they go into detail in that webinar about how they're doing it. They log into the software, the ESF software, the production software, and show what it is that they are doing. And the interesting thing about the Bosdale, and one of the reasons that you'll want to look at that webinar, is that they were just ranked the #1 in terms of productivity, the #1 PIC herd in Ontario, and ranked #1 purebred herd overall in Canada, with a pigs weaned per sow per year average for 2020 of 31.8 pigs weaned per sow per year. So congratulations to Bosdale. And if you want to see how they're doing it and get a real good look at the way they've implemented Maximus within their system, then I encourage you to look at the Bosdale webinar, Complete Value of Maximus. But don't go now, because we have a lot to tell you about Maximus itself. And we're going to do it in a way that's a bit of a presentation and a bit of a conversation among us as we go. So we call it the Maximus Solution because it's more than a control, and it's more than equipment such as ESF systems for lactation and gestation, sorters, heat detection stations. It's a complete solution that's integrated with the hardware and the software, both the software that's embedded in the electronics, and it's the software that is for managing the controls and for production management in pigs and poultry. And that would be both for sows and for grow finish on the pig side. I should stop for just a second and make sure I introduce myself and allow the others to introduce themselves. Dr. Tom Stein, veterinarian by training with a PhD, which was the creation and development of the PigChamp software system. I led the group that commercialized that through the world into the 90s. And then in 2000, co-founded a company called MetaFarms to build software as a service, a web-based software solution for pork production, really focused on the finishing side plus the sows, so really pulling it all together. And in 2017, I joined Maximus full-time as senior strategic advisor, because the future really is the integration of hardware and software. So just straight software is a dead end, just straight hardware is a dead end. The integration of the two is where the future is. So I'll turn it over to allow Wes and Lisa to introduce themselves. Why don't you go ahead, Wes?
Yep, so my name is Wesley Lack. I'm based in the US, but Vice President of Sales for Maximus Systems. And so I help work with partners and distributors across the globe. Background is production. No doctor behind my name, but I spent a lot of years in production. I love swine production. It's kind of been my passion, and partly why I'm here with Maximus, just helping provide solutions around the globe. So,
thanks. And Lisa?
Hi, I have a degree in sales and marketing, and I've been in the swine business for a little over 20 years now, mainly working on the software side. My responsibilities are sales, implementation, and support of Maximus software.
Grew up milking cows in Wisconsin.
Yes, fun fact.
Exactly. Thanks. So just to make sure I sort of level set everybody and give a brief overview of Maximus so everybody knows really what it is that we do, who we are. This is the Maximus headquarters, which is in a suburb of Montreal. That entire first floor is really devoted to manufacturing of the flagship products, which have to do with the computers and the electronics and the Maximus Control. So all the circuit boards, all the programming is done in this building. All the manufacturing is done. We manufacture our own circuit boards, all from here. And we have geographic distribution around the world, of course, through Canada with individual distributors or Maximus offices in each of the provinces. In the US with Wes and his team, which is Maximum Ag Technologies. In Mexico and Latin America with Mexico. In China, in an office in Shanghai, as well as our office for the rest of Asia, which is in Bangkok, and offices in Russia and Eastern Europe, or for Eastern Europe. So it's a wide distribution. Precision Ag, Tony Van Gelderen is the Maximus authorized dealer in Alberta. For those of you listening in Alberta for the Banff Pork Conference, and we know there's people from all over the world, but specifically for you in Alberta, Tony and the Precision Ag team are the people to talk to and follow up with. As I said, our flagship product, the Maximus Control, we call the one with the screen, the brain in the barn. And obviously you can extend systems with these sort of follower controls. If this is the lead control, if this is the brain, these are the followers. The important thing is that there are some big ideas behind the development of this control and the entire approach, which we'll get into in just a minute. We have a sister company that's right down the road from the Maximus headquarters in another suburb of Montreal called Zax. And as I said, Maximus does the computers and the electronics and all the programming and makes the lead product, which is the Maximus Control. And then we embed that technology, we embed all the computers and the electronics into other proprietary products, such as our ESF system, electronic sow feeding system for lactation and gestation, sorting scales, heat detection systems, bird scales for poultry guys, and so when somebody comes to Maximus, they want to work with us, what they're getting is the total solution. We are the general contractor. You as a producer, you don't have to put all this together. It all comes as one solution. So let me just give you a couple of key ideas. I call them big ideas. These are the things that make Maximus different. And the first one is, and as Maximus came out of the gate in 2012, the whole idea was, let's reduce the number of controls. Let's take all these individual proprietary controls from other producer or other vendors and embed them all in one control in a box that can be continuously updated with boards and with programming. So it's the last control you ever need to buy. It's the only control you'll never need to buy, no matter what the system is, no matter what it is you're trying to do, run ESF in lactation or gestation, or sorters, or barn ventilation systems, or water management, on and on, which Wes will talk about. Basically, big idea, take it all into one control that's completely updatable and customizable as you go. Last control anyone needs to buy. The second big idea was, instead of having our own fans and inlets and all the rest of this, we basically have the idea that let's manage and control multiple vendors' equipment, right? So it's the Switzerland strategy, where you can connect the Maximus technology and controls to any other vendor's equipment. So, and that's what allows a single box to replace all those individual controls. The third big idea is what you could think of as the Intel strategy, Intel inside. It's really embedding, leveraging the electronics and the computers into different products. And those products are things like, as you see, the ESF in gestation, ESF in lactation, heat detection stations, sorters, scales, auto sort machines. And for example, it doesn't have to be a Maximus Zax product. And an example was the sorter machine, where Maximus Electronics can control a ProSort machine. The next big idea really is that we believe in a wired network in the barns, not wireless. So the main brain control, the controller, is connected to the internet, but of course will work just fine if the internet goes down or is not available. But we think that a wired network is the way to go because of the future. And if there's anything that we're trying to do, it's to give you a solution for today and a path to the future. Right? So how many wireless networks are you going to be running in a barn? How many wireless networks are you going to want to set up at a site? How many wireless networks are you going to want to put into sow farms? There's all sorts of technology that's going to be coming to the market. You need a platform. You need some way of sort of pulling all of that together into one integrated place. And that's the value of the Maximus system and the Maximus control. Fifth big idea, build a lot of value-added software around the hardware and the electronics. And we'll get into more detail about that in just a few minutes. So if you think about Maximus and step back, 30,000 foot level, essentially what you get with Maximus, when you come with Maximus, is you get us as your guide. You get us as your path to the future with, essentially unparalleled engineering, really visionary innovation, and what we say a plug and play future, right? So you're going to get confronted with all sorts of technology coming at you, and it might be, systems that help reduce crushing in farrowing houses, or cameras, or wireless antennas, and on and on and on for counting pigs. We're the platform behind all that. We really put all of that together for you rather than force you to be the general contractor and put it all together for yourself. And so that's where we come up with our essence, meaning fast forwarding the future. We're bringing the future to you and allowing you to have a path that you don't have to try to figure out what's going to happen next. We're going to be there to guide you. What I want to do is let Wes talk a little bit about the Maximus control and all of the other sort of value add products that we have. And really, Wes, what are you seeing out there? What are the kinds of projects that people are leveraging with our brain in the barn control and our other products? And what's really happening? What are people doing out there?
Yeah, it's because I get to see things around the globe. It's quite amazing. 5 years ago, how different we might have been. Today, we're actually starting to see people come around together, and we're becoming very similar from U.S. to Europe to China, Asia market, and we're seeing a huge push right now on animal health, animal welfare, and so with our positive pressure functionality with the Maximus, we've done small 1,200 head sow units with positive pressure, and we've done up to 18,000 head sow units with positive pressure, and going bigger in some of the places around the world. But animal welfare, animal health has been a huge, huge push in utilizing the Maximus, again, with our positive pressure, with truck wash management, with staff management, with our car key readers, just allowing access to and from, and then tying that, of course, what do we do with all that? Tying that into our production software stuff that Lisa will talk about a little bit. The other big push as we look at some of the animal welfare stuff is, of course, electronic sow feeding, our Maximus free access. And one thing that we've seen over the last couple of years, it's been slow, and then it's been really fast. In the last 6 months have really just kind of blown up on animal welfare, animal housing practices that we've got. But with the Maximus, having that, well, like you said, the integrated solution, where we're controlling we're monitoring the scales on the feed bins. We're controlling the feed bin slides. We're controlling the delivery systems. We're controlling the free access ESF. And the key is having it all work together. So if there's something wrong with our feed delivery system, or there's no feed in the feed bin, what do we do with that information? Well, with Maximus, because it is all working together and all tied together, we can actually help find the solution automatically with the Maximus system. So with our 3P sow feeding bottle, all of that. And so there's a big push on that right now. And we've been driving that, as well as sorting. We're seeing sorting is kind of making a comeback. And I know Alberta area, you guys do a lot of sorting up there. US kind of came in, went away, and we're starting to see it really kind of come back. And with the equipment that we've got today, the technology we have today, I think is becoming much, much more successful than what it had been in the past. So those are kind of big things.
Hey, Wes, hey, like, I know that a lot of people wonder about, well, like, what about if I've got Hispanic employees, people who don't speak English or other languages? Now, obviously, we're around the world, so we've got to have some translations in there. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so a couple of, I mean, Maximus comes, I think we have 8 different languages now. We're working on number 9 and number 10. But it is two ways. This can be however you want it to be. So if you're on farm and you got a Hispanic labor, the control can be in Spanish on the farm. Or if you have remote access to it, every user is identified specifically. We actually set all of those standards within the Maximus software as well to that language that's available. And so when they log in or they're looking at it on the screen, it's in their language. And when you log in, Tom, it's in your language. So it's really quite user-friendly in that fact. And short story, because I know we're short on time, but I actually had a customer say, our farm has never, ever performed this good. We have great guys, Hispanic staff, but they've been so afraid of the controls. They know how to manage their environment. They know what they need to do, but they've been so afraid of the control, they didn't. And when we put the Maximus in, we actually improved 0.5% mortality rates because they could do it. They understood the Maximus. It was intuitive, and it was built for those guys to be able to understand it and utilize it. And performance proves it.
And we have no problem dropping this technology into, for example, Russia or China or even Vietnam, any place in Asia, right?
Nope, that's right. We are. It's already in Mandarin, and we're working on German right now. We're working on Vietnamese right now, and so across the globe right now, if there's a market for us, we're developing the language for that market.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. So let me just continue and say, one of the big reasons I joined Maximus was to put together, to help the R&D team leverage value-added software, build value-added software, and add it in to software that not only allows you to manage multiple controls and exception reporting and on, but also really competes against the other production management software systems like PigChamp or PigNose or MetaFarms. And of course, the reason for that is that it becomes a complete integrated system, same database behind it all. And so you don't need to then, again, be the general contractor trying to make like a feeder work with somebody else's software and all the rest. It's all put together into one integrated system. Again, we act like the general contractor with all the deliverables that we put together for you, so you don't have to worry about that. In terms of the software itself, we have quite a line that we've put together over the last couple of years. These are all actual software applications that are in the field and being used by customers. And so I'm going to let Lisa, I just want to ask you about what you're seeing. Lisa leads the software business in terms of sales, really globally, primarily in the US, but globally as well. You know, what are you seeing out there, Lisa? How are people adopting this? What are they liking about it? Why would they choose Maximus over, you know, a sort of a dead end software only system?
Yeah. So today we have about, well, a little over 400,000 sows on the system. The sow side of the software is very attractive for folks because of cost and integration, of course, with electronic sow feeding. Also with the mobile app, it works online and offline as well. So that's what's been really popular on the sow side. And again, integrating that environmental data into your sow production records as well. That's been key for folks to be able to look at that in a totally different view than they've been able to look at before. Really on the, as Tom mentioned, we have a enterprise level software, and that's really been popular with larger systems because that allows them to see all of their controller data in one platform. So they can report and manage, well, with the user management, they can manage all the users in one place instead of having to set up the users and individual controllers. They can manage everything in one place. Again, and the aggregated reporting that comes with the enterprise. So you can really manage by exception. So, you know, say you have 50 sites across several states, and those regional folks can just take care of their region and really manage by exception with the outliers, you know, with the alarms and temperatures and things like that.
One of the things that I want to mention that you can see here is the genetics. So we are replacing a complete genetic management system, not the BLUP, of course, but the tracking of the individual pigs in nucleus and multiplier systems. And we're doing that for one we were asked to do it for one large producer, a global mega producer. And of course, we're turning that into a product. And one of the reasons that that's an important product, besides the, you know, hopefully people are going to want to update their genetic management systems internally, but it's the individual pig tracking, because that's where things are going. That's where the future is. And for example, being able to automatically run GDUs by automatically detecting heat in replacement gilts as they're in the GDUs, automatically sending that heat information, puberty, second heat, third heat, and doing that by tracking the individual gilt records from the time of weaning or even the time of birth on. And as people begin to implement maybe ultra high frequency RFID tags for counting pigs, that's going to be also a necessary database, the individual pig records. So we're really excited about that piece of things. And I would say that the, you know, anybody can create a mobile app for entering, you know, the number of weaned pigs, the number of pigs born alive, or anything like that. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not anybody. It might be a slight exaggeration, but many people can get that done. But we're putting it all together in terms of the cost of production. So one of my big things is how do we integrate cost of production reporting into this? For example, being able to look at the lifetime cost of production per sow, not just lifetime pig performance, lifetime cost of production for sows. I think that's one of the next big things. And we've got a couple of questions. One of them, Wes, is have we looked at integrating our ESF computer electronics with anybody else's ESF system?
Yeah, and so that question came from Martine, and we really haven't, and simply because every system kind of has their own unique functionality or with what it does, and you know, the risk of not operating something else correctly or not integrating properly. We've never really pushed on that potential option. If you have questions about it, I wouldn't be hesitant to reach out to your provider, whether you're in Alberta. You can talk with Tony there at Precision Ag, but we really haven't, and just for potential risk issues there.
Mm-hmm. And Lisa,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, we got another question, which is really about price point on the software.
Well, I want to go back and just talk about the software with different ESF systems. I guess we can push and pull data, and enterprise and other data to other systems with web services and APIs. And we're doing that for several, actually quite a few companies, especially on the ERP side as well, not just with the sow feeding. So I'll throw that out there.
Mm-hmm. And then price point on the production management software?
Yeah, you know, of course, on the sow side, it's by sow. The US rate for that, again, depending on the number of sows, is anywhere between $1 and $1.50 a sow per year, and that includes all your mobile functionality as well. And yes, we can convert from historical databases such as Pig Nose, Pig Champ, MetaFarms, that type of thing. And on the grow finish side, again, it really depends on the size of your operation. It can range anywhere from, say, 8 cents all the way up to 15 cents per pig placed on feed per year. So again, it depends on what functionality you want with enterprise or just grow finish. So.
And I know that we can integrate with accounting systems, and like, for example, a large integrated producer that's got processing plants and live production.
Yes, we import quite a bit of the sales and carcass data along with feed data. The other thing that is very popular is feed bin scale data. So that really obviously controls your feed outages. That's been extremely beneficial as well.
Yeah, thanks. Well, we're going to have to finish up. I would say, again, I'd encourage you to go to look at the Bosdale webinar. And I thought it was really interesting that they said, what was it that caused them to choose Maximus as a complete solution? And they talked about the comprehensive nature, really, of the entire Maximus package. And that's what I was saying about us being sort of general contractors as well as providing the technology. Well, thanks a lot. That's our time for today. Appreciate you tuning in.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.